everyone, it's Bex, Planner UK. I hope you are all safe and well. I wanted to film a quick flip through of my July pages, so here goes. So this is my first page of July, and it's amazing how, looking back, how everything moves so quickly, doesn't it, in terms of coronavirus updates and so forth. On this page, as you can see, I used some tape from my sister's birthday present. I ordered her a Teacher Happy Planner from Craftelia. A lot of places had sold out actually, but I managed to get one from there. So, yeah, waste not, want not. And these, as I mentioned before, are free printables from Ferris Wheel Press, and I just really like the artwork there. I quite like the black and the yellow as well. So I just summed up why I liked this journal. So this was the Paper Chase A5 journal. The paper was thick, the lines are good, it's very pretty, it coped well with fountain pens including ink splodges, and it was nice to write on, but it doesn't lie flat, so it was a little bit difficult to write and to take photos sometimes. I'd also done a few journal prompts as well before those last pages at the start of July, things I've noticed during lockdown that I would normally perhaps miss. Always a pre-lockdown life I would like to leave behind. New ways of life that I have learnt in lockdown and would like to carry on after. Everyday things that perhaps I took for granted before lockdown, which I now appreciate more. And yeah, there we go. So on to the next one. So when I finished this journal, which lasted me 13th of June to the 2nd of July, I then moved on to this one, which was £3 from Hobbycraft, and it's actually a sketchbook. I think it's 80 pages, and I've really enjoyed using this one. So let's flick through these July pages. So I started on the 3rd of July. I need to actually fill in. I've just completed it. This is a free printable from Note and Wish. They always produce like a beautiful free printable every month, so sign up to their newsletter and then they will let you know when it's ready for download. Isn't it funny how day by day nothing changes, but when you look back everything is different? That's a quote by C.S. Lewis, and I picked it up from a girl with a journal on Instagram and I had to note it down. This was obviously when lockdown started easing in the UK. This was quite interesting as well. The taverns are full of gadabounts making merry this eve, and though I may press my face against the window like an urchin at a confectioner's, I am tempted not by the sweetmeats within. A dram in exchange for the pock is an ill bargain indeed. Which is interesting food for thought, obviously, with all pubs and stuff reopening. Obviously you want to support businesses, but obviously we need to be sensible as well. I'm quite into yellow at the minute, as you might have seen if you've seen my recent Happy Mail that I got, my ink dory. One of those is bright happy yellow. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is when I got my Hobonichi Week stickers that I absolutely love from Little Inky Heart. I like this. My alone time is for everyone's safety. So true. I'm having having quite a lot of weird dreams at the moment, so I think I was trying to note them down a little bit more. I always like handwritten notes. So this was some soil that I'd ordered, and it came as like a disc, and then you added water and it fluffed up into the soil. It was quite clever. Use some watercolours here and some flowers. I just stuck them in actually with sellotape. I didn't press them before I stuck them in, but actually they're holding up quite well. This made me laugh. My kids just know me too well, so they found this pretty packaging, so they said, "Mum, you can stick this in your journal." Which of course I did. We had some baby carrots from my mother-in-law from the garden, so I just did a little sketch of that. I think this quote is so true. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. Obviously, as an event manager, we always try to do things that are more interactive and engaging rather than just a boring kind of lecture presentation. So it's certainly true. And these were some stamps. They don't even seem to have been stamped on a package that came to me, so I thought I'll stick them in here actually. That's so true as well. So this is from William Hanna on Instagram. This quote, which is from an unknown author, said, "Life is so ironic. It takes sadness to know what happiness is, noise to appreciate silence, absence to value presence." Really true. Soap equals hope. This is interesting. It's not a word that I have to spell very often, but I needed to spell the word dilemma. And I'm sure that I was taught at school that dilemma was spelt D-I-L-E-M-N-A. But actually when I looked it up, it's actually double M-A, which seemed like quite an American spelling somehow, or it seemed a bit foreign really. And but when I looked it up, there's a lot of other people that remember being taught to spell it the way that I thought I'd been taught it. But apparently there's no record of it in the dictionary, like earlier spellings and things, so it's a bit strange. Again, I quite like to record kind of quotes from the Prime Minister and government and things. So Boris has said, "We have learnt a lot of lessons during this crisis about the potential of technology, but I think there are also limits to this technology and there is no substitute for face-to-face meetings and interactions," which I completely agree. So this was the day when they'd come up with a timescale announcing that on the 1st of August, bowling alleys, skating rinks, casinos, etc. could open, and live indoor theatre and concerts could happen, and wedding receptions, as long as they were socially distanced, and the wedding receptions were for 30 people maximum. And then they were saying that from October, return to stadiums for sporting events, conferences and business events can recommence subject to outcomes of some pilot kind of trials that they're doing. So interestingly now, looking back in hindsight, they obviously postponed these openings for the 1st of August because the infection rate was too high. So already it puts into doubt October and whether obviously the suggested timescale for kind of conferences and business events and larger events are going to happen or not. So I was just putting some thoughts down. Obviously, it makes it really difficult when you're planning events. You don't just plan it and it magically happens the next day. Obviously, it takes a lot of time. So obviously, a lot of things on my mind. So this seemed like a big breakthrough. They had identified clusters of symptoms, which determines how badly affected you are going to be by coronavirus. So this seemed like quite a big breakthrough on this day, really. I love this photograph. I love this leather chair. It looks so comfy, doesn't it? And the picture of the horse and the blinds and the rug. It's lovely. Experience is simply the name we give our mistakes, by a quote by Oscar Wilde. And this actually was just 2 programmes that I'd finished watching finally. The Salisbury Poisonings, which is definitely worth a watch if you haven't seen it already, and Ibiza Dreams, which followed young people working in Ibiza and kind of making a living in Ibiza last summer. And obviously when you watch it, it just makes you realise how much everything's changed, and obviously this summer I imagine will be very different in Ibiza. Got to use packaging. Pretty packaging always goes in my journal. This is a list of Marvel films that we're kind of working our way through. It's in chronological order of when the films were set. So Captain America the First Avenger was set during the war in 1942, Captain Marvel 1995. So we're kind of working our way, and we're going to watch them in order because I've never seen any of the films apart from these 2 that we've just watched. So I will copy this and move it into my next journal when I move on to my next journal. These were some quotes from the films to help me remember it. My son wanted to draw monsters, so we had fun doing that. There was a few days when it was a bit more difficult to find the death toll because of the review that the government has ordered about the way that deaths are recorded. But anyway, I can find the information again now, but I think they're still reviewing. Oh, these I should mention are from Paper Made Me Do It. Free printable. Aren't they cute? The Hobonichi covers. This was from there as well. I should mention that if you want to read any of the pages, particularly like my coronavirus updates, then I do try to post certainly the coronavirus updates on my Instagram every day. Quite like this artwork here from a magazine. This is when my baby was poorly. She had a really high temperature. We did go and take her for a coronavirus test, which was quite fun, swabbing a baby's throat and nostrils, but it all came back clear. It was quite an interesting experience though. I think I'm just concerned that we seem to be moving too fast, trying to get back closer to normal. I know we need to save the economy and so many businesses are in trouble, but it just seems like everything's accelerating out of control. If anyone picked up on Instagram as well, me and my husband were umming and ahhing whether our kids should go back to swimming lessons. And even though I think that's been pushed back, so I don't think swimming pools have actually opened on the 1st of August. But as it happened, the instructor wasn't actually allowed to be in the pool with the children. I don't know if that's just a policy where our children go swimming or whether that is a blanket policy. But obviously, I definitely am not happy with my children learning to swim as non-swimmers in a pool without the instructor being in the water with them. I think they would panic. So there we go. I sometimes talk a bit more about how I've done things like borders and things as well on Instagram. Do give me a follow at Planner UK if you haven't already. My daughter was going back to the childminders for a day, and she said that she was actually feeling quite nervous about it. So even 4-year-olds obviously are a bit anxious about returning back to normal. This is my lovely friend Andrea, who I grew up with, and she's such a lovely person, and she is actually the editor and everything at the Hornsea Community News, and she's doing such a good job. And my mum had bought a copy over for me, and so I got a chance to read it, and I'm just so proud of her. She's doing such a good job. I like this quote: "Not all storms come to disrupt your life, some come to clear your path." And this made me laugh as well. "Don't be a lady, be a legend." That was seen on Love Lynn's Life on YouTube. Everything goes in my journal. This was a quiz we were doing, and it was how many bands can you see? I think there's actually 52. We had quite a good attempt. Getting towards the end of the month now. This is when the local lockdowns were announced for Greater Manchester, East Lancashire and parts of West Yorkshire, and they were literally announced at 9:15 the day before they came into effect, and it was also the day before Eid as well, which was pretty bad timing, wasn't it? But I suppose the virus doesn't wait for anyone, does it? So if they need to take a decision, they need it to happen quite quickly. So sorry if it is a bit noisy. I did have the windows open, I have just shut them, so... I just tried to do a quick sketch of my daughter from this photograph, because I think if you don't practice, you're not going to improve. I'm not an artist, but practice makes perfect. So I definitely didn't do her justice, but, at least I tried. This spread is when I got my beautiful ink dories, my Happy Mail. So I have done a video about the unboxing of my beautiful ink dories, so please do go and watch it if you haven't already, and see why I'm so delighted and excited. And I just added these goodies here just to remind me. Oh, this was sweet. My son basically set up some chairs and the picnic blanket in the garden because the sun was shining, and said, "Bring your journals, Mum, come outside." And he sat me down so I could do some journaling in the garden in the sunshine. I think baby was asleep, and it was just absolute bliss. I had maybe it was only 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but it was so lovely that he did that. What a sweetie. Sorry about the noise outside. This is a free printable from Fairly Organised Chaos. This was another quiz, 90 songs. A secret message from my son, how cute is that? And I think we're nearly at the August pages, but in the meantime, I just noted down some different planner challenges that are doing the rounds at the moment. This was quite an interesting one from Planning Mama August Challenge. I've not really kept up with this, but I maybe should join in. I'm sorry, I don't want to show you my August pages, but there's also this interesting challenge, Journaling Through the Ages by Kia Creates. And I've just done this one. I spread about what journaling means to you, and I'm hopefully going to join in with some of the other ones because that looks really fun. And then these are good prompts as well from Plan, Inspire, Create. And throughout August, it's all about success and failure. So I did the first prompt about how do you define success, and yeah, some interesting ones there. So I'm not going to show you actually the rest of the pages because they go into my August pages. So I'm going to leave it there, and I have now just finished this journal as well, so I'm moving into a new journal. So stay posted on my Instagram or for my next video to see which journal I have chosen to move into. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. Happy journaling, happy planning, and stay safe. Take care.